sort of stood out to you about the leader that Zaire Franklin is over the year and a half?
Oh, you're talking about from last year?
Well, just, last year to this year, just...
I think right now he's the same person that he was a year ago. He came in very confident young man, like I said before. He's got toughness, got grit, all that kind of stuff, very durable, extremely smart, understood the whole defense. I was extremely, very proud of him, how he performed last year. Leader, he's always been a leader. He was a special teams captain the year before and came over and accepted the role, took it over, and I thought he had a great year last year.
When you've gone through the installs over the last couple of months, and even starting with basic stuff, what have you noticed with him, just about maybe like the notes that he's been taking, or just some of the things that he's trying to pick up on to become a better player?
Well, like I said, first of all, he's very intelligent. He's got great recall, and he might come up with a thing and say, what about this? He'll ask questions, which is good. He challenges you, and I think it's outstanding. He has an outstanding recall. He can put the defense in the right positions, and there's some defenses that we have that he's got to be the guy that makes a check or take a call off and put it on the other side. And like I said, last year and same thing in this training camp and the off-season program, has done a wonderful job.
And Gus Bradley mentioned that over the course of practice, you really start to see a spike in Shaq's performance. I mean, especially with him starting to take those 11-on-11 full pad drills. So for you, since you get to see him up close and personal every day, have you noticed that same spike as well in his progression?
Well, let's just, we can talk about Shaq. He's extremely important. A year ago, I felt very, very, sorry for the guy. I mean, here he came off this injury. You missed all of the off-season program, from the OTAs. You missed the training camp part, and then all of a sudden, eventually, we weaned him back in. Anytime you got a great player like that is in terms of very, very prideful, leader, playmaker. The Colts organization is extremely important to him. Winning is very important to him. That is tough, and then what he had to do, he started splitting reps with Bobby, because Bobby was having a really good year, so that became very, very frustrating. And then when he did get back in there, remember the game, I can't remember it against, but it was at home, and he got hurt, got the concussion and the broken nose, and so there was another setback. When I watched him over the course of last year and this offseason, this guy has worked extremely hard. I had a surgery on my ankle, so I was in the training room early in the morning, like about 5:30 in the morning, and he was there before me, working out with our strength coaches. Rich has done a wonderful job with this guy. I'm talking about taking him from one level to a different level, okay? So now it's the thing of getting in the action. It's great that our medical staff has allowed him, okay, because he's always wanted to, try to start him to practice him. Now, he's not taking every single rep, but we're monitoring his reps in practice, and every day we've increased those reps. As a matter of fact, I thought yesterday's practice out on the grass, he was by far, that was his best day. I'm talking about movement skills, and you know what I mean? And I don't know if, how it will turn out, but if he can continue to make progress like that, outstanding, because I'm going to tell you, he's unbelievable. In the classroom, he's really good out on the field, and he really wants it, and I'm hoping everything happens the way, that he would like it to happen, because he is a Colt, and he is very, very prideful, and he's got outstanding instincts. He understands football really, really well. So we're going to continue that, progressing him as every day goes on.
He said that he's leaned on you a lot just because you keep it real with him when you watch the tape back or anything that he does, and I think your relationship has kind of just helped keep it, I guess keep that open communication and keep it 100% honest.
I think what's happened, I've coached for 45 years, so you know what I mean, I've coached a lot of different people, and you got to coach the way you coach, you know what I mean, and if I don't tell somebody what's right or what's wrong, I'm doing a bad job. You don't want to, make it easy on one and not on the other. You got to coach them. You're trying to take their game to a different level. And what's happened, he's a tall, long guy. You know what I mean? And what's happening in terms of, you got to be able to bend your knees. You got to use your hands. You got to get off the blocks. If not, I'm trying to look for the safety of the player, not only the execution, but the safety of the player. So he's accepted all those roles. I think what's happening with all these players, probably Gus, I don't listen to any of these press conferences, but it's like this is their second year in the system. Okay, I think a year ago it was brand new to them. Ooh, man, what's going on here? It was different for us. So there was maybe a handout, like, and now, right now, everybody has really, they understand it. They have accepted. and they're very prideful. They practice hard, and you know, good things will happen. I'm telling you that. You know what I mean? So with him, you just got to coach him just like you coach Zaire, just like you coach all the backups.
Gus has said that EJ is a guy that they've got to find ways to get on the field more, especially with Shaq being healthy now. What have you seen from him in terms of growth in the last year or so?
Well, I think first of all, let's credit EJ. He had an opportunity to go to different teams. He was a free agent. You know, let me go back to that. Let's look at last year when he played. Every time you put him in the game, the guy made an explosive play, tackle for a loss, a sack, a caused fumble. You know, he's that kind of an athlete. He's tall, he's long, he's quick, okay, and he's tough. I mean, what else do you want? You know. So the thing is, to me, I think the sky's the limit for him. Just continue to concentrate, work on the fundamentals and the technique, get the pre-snap reads, and let's go play football. So what's happening, you got a really good football player right there, you know. And so for him right now is that he's coming off the what do you call it, bones things in his ankle, you know what I mean? So we've been kind of monitoring his reps too coming back, you know. But I think his potential is unbelievable, and that's coached to, you know, put him on the field in certain situations, which we do. And you know, man, I think he has a chance to be a really good football player. Really
as you've rotated up some of the young guys, you know, Stewart, Luby, Doman, up onto the first team, just what have you seen out of them and when they've got those opportunities?
Okay, that's a great question. What I try to do, let's see if you guys, I'm sure you guys can understand this. Every one of these backups have to know multiple positions. What does it do? It creates value for you. You got a chance to land a spot on this team. Once you're only a one-dimensional, you only play one, boy, you better be pretty special at that one spot. So these guys, and the reason I try to do it that way, or we try to do it that way, not I, the reason being, if there was an injury, I want the best football player to come in and play for us, okay? So there is, and also what it does, it creates competition, you know. And so what we're trying to do is, once you're, you know, a year ago when we had Bobby, you know, Bobby was, to me, was like a security blanket. If something happens out here, he had gone into Mike, and then you're off and running. DJ would have been the will. But right now, Bobby left. Great for him. Happy for him. He made all the money in New York. And the thing is, what we're doing, we're trying to find, we need a backup Mike linebacker right now. And they know it. So whichever you write, they know it. Okay? And so we're trying to find who can you develop? Who can you take to a different level? And part of it's in your brain, your mindset. They all have the ability. I mean, this backup group is by far, some of them are the same, but to me, we look at it where it's a much better backup group than we had a year ago right now. But it is competition, and it's going to be these 3 games that are coming up, and practicing against Chicago will be another indication. But every day, can a guy do it on a consistent basis, not just he jumps out at you one time? You know, who has the play-making ability, if that makes some sense.
Shaq talked openly about, you know, wondering if he could get back to, you know, even being out there. Did you ever have any moments just talking to him when he was, I guess, didn't see sort of the light at the end of the tunnel?
I think more or less, you know, he's a very private guy, you know what I mean? And I think anytime you go through the type of injury that he had, there's got to be, from a psychological standpoint, there's got to be a mindset, something in the back of your mind can trigger. And that's my job as a coach, to tell it the way it is and show the improvement, and which I think he's done a tremendous job. Like I said, he was much better yesterday than the day before. I'm talking about movement skills. You see what I'm saying? So he's worked hard on it now, man. And also he's conscious of it. You know, will he be that same guy that he was, whatever, 3 years? I don't know that. He doesn't know that yet. But I'm going to tell you what he is. He's a coach on the field, and he has probably the best instincts, okay, in understanding the ball that I've ever been around. Okay, so what he doesn't, let's say he's limited a little bit, that, you know, I'm talking about because of his injuries, he can make up for it in terms of big playability because of his instinct and his knowledge. I think that. But we never want to put him out there if we didn't feel that he was like 100%, where, you know, you're talking about an injury could occur. It's not right, you know what I mean, to any player. So